Hello everybody, I'm Dilo, and this is a breakdown of my track Keep Sane. So as you can probably tell by now, this is my first track that I've ever released. Also, it's the first track that I ever wrote. The time of making that was around 2014, and I think it was just one of those melody in the shower kind of moments. And at that time of making the first core part, there was no second half, there was no switch, there was no drop. It was just followed by pull myself to, yeah, all of those parts. And I used my good friend Frosty as validation for the track. I shown it to him on Xbox Live, where we used to hang out. Show him the track. He really liked it. I remember he said it was catchy and stuck in his head for a long time after I shown him it. And I think me too. It's tough because that's now 8 years ago. It's unbelievable. So 8 years ago, I made the core of the track, and then come along a few years to 2017. That's when I had the idea to use it as like a wild card. So that means this is a video attempting to get me into a competition. So objectifying the set, which is what I do in the beatbox battles sometimes, is to do a track that I've made to tick some of the boxes that the judge panel's looking for. So I use that as my grand beatbox battle 2018 wildcard. And so this became my wildcard. I was pretty worried about it, but at the time, my style was focused on the composition and the music side, as it is right now in this time period, 2022. However, I needed a little bit more of a bass injection, a bit more wow factor, a bit more skills, a bit more drop-esque style. So that's how the second part of the track birthed. Just before I turned that into a wild card, I remember I had the entry. Just liked a little squeak in there. For some reason, it sounded right when I was thinking about taking the track a little bit further. So 2017, I shown it on this YouTube channel, and yeah, people really liked it. It ranked pretty high. I think it might have been 4. That's a guess at this point. Anyway, it got me straight into the competition. So there you go, relied on the set. And other beatbox artists also used sets in this year. This was an extremely musical year, pretty pivotal year. So 5 more years have passed since that moment, and not too much changed on the track. I'm better at doing it now than then, because I'm better at using beatbox and vocals. But the time had to come where I released my first official track, and this is the first of many. Granted, everything stays all good, I will be releasing so many more of my ideas and tracks, but this was the first one I ever made. It was always going to be the first one I released. Keep Sane. What I'm trying to portray in that video is the light and the dark style that I'm using. The light style, it's a little bit more melody, vocal based, still using beatboxing. And that dark style is a little bit more technical or bassline skillful. And this track also fit perfectly into my vision because it displays both of the sides in the video with a cut in the middle, as you can see. I did have one set that I made in about 2013, but it was terrible. It was just not, it was an alright idea, but it was, when I made this one, the lyrics and the melody, it was just completely different, because all I had done at that point was a few little covers. I was doing covers of tracks made by artists already, which is extremely rewarding and fun. I still do that to this day. But this one, Keep Sane, was the first melody lyric configuration that I made. And yeah, when Frosty mentioned that he really liked it and I did too, that was hype. I was so excited and happy to unlock that part of my music. So I felt great. Probably one of my favorite sets I ever made because of those feelings I had in 2014. Performing the set a little bit slower, a little bit more intricate details, focusing on the quality. So here's a little breakdown for everybody on the sound effects that I'm using in the performance. So it's just falsetto vocals to start off. We're using an outward K snare. We're using a vocal lip oscillation. And at some point I use pull myself together. So that's throat bass. Whoa. A regular lip oscillation. Back to that outward K and falsetto. And then the next sound featured is that kind of F squeak that I use in the lyrics. Now we're using a little bit of vocal chest bass. And then there's one break where I'm using a click combined with a don't really know a term for you, but we're also using, which is just like using airflow to make a filter. And then we come in with inward bass. Yeah, that's inwards throat bass. We're also using and which is a kick and a hi-hat throughout the track. And at the we're using a combo of outward and inward hi-hat. And then we bring the tongue bass. And then there's the golden filler. Wow. The one filler that was effective in the wild card, which is so the sounds there are 2 D-Lo kicks and then a loodle whistle and then a vocal followed by a tongue flute. So the tongue flute is a whistle. And maybe we use a which is just like a lip roll drag and inwards. And I think that's all the sounds broken down in the piece. Yeah, that's about all I got to say for the track. And believe you me, at this time of recording, I'm just about to release it. And I am so excited and happy that it's finally done. And now you can prepare to enjoy tracks that you've never heard from me. Let's see how it goes. Cheers for checking this out, checking out the track.